This.
So I import this object, and after that you have to click on the finish. So you can see that a new drawings will be appear, right? Okay. So you have to first go in the window and you have to check all these items will be available or not. So we have to see
Yes.
that the documents available, tools, conceptual tools, takeoff and workbook,
Takeoff.
all that are available. Okay, right? So now we have to go
Okay.
to the document, and again you have to check that the unit and scales. Okay, so here we have to select that the unit, that is the millimeter. Okay, right? Then apply and okay. Now this is the object. So what are, how many items you have to calculate from this one? Can you tell me that? Any idea?
Doors, openings.
So first the items we have to calculate
So
that the
number
brick.
of
Yes, first items we have to calculate that the brick, right? You have to find out that the number of bricks in the walls. Okay, right? The second you can find out that the brick masonry, right? The volume of brick.
yeah.
Yes, right?
No.
Yes. Yes. Now the next one,
Yeah.
that is you can identify that the plasters. Okay, the area of plasters or the volume of plasters. Okay, now you can also
Mm.
calculate from this wall that the cement used in the walls. Okay, what is the volume of cement used and the number of bags cements used in the walls, right? Okay, uh, you can also calculate that the quantity of sand, right?
And
Right. And so like this you have to calculate that the various types of items, right? So we have to first, I have taken that only that the two items, that is the brick and the so first we have to go on the brick. So I define that, that is the brick. Okay, so what you want to calculate from the brick, that is the area, right? Because this is the rectangular in shape, so we calculate that what area, and after that we calculate that the volume of this wall. Okay, now the next quantity, that is the plaster. Okay, the next quantity, that is the plaster, so we can also identify that the plaster of this wall. Okay, so also this is the quantity will be the area, right? Yes. So you have to do that the number of items you have to first create. Okay, now after that what we have to do, so then go to the brick. Okay, and you have to calculate that by the using that the takeoff tools, that is the area takeoff tools. So go to the rectangular area takeoff tools, and first you have to see that the color will be matched for both objects,
yes.
and then you can identify that the area. Yes. So you can see that the area of brick, okay, 31.503 meters square, right? But this is the area of wall, okay, the complete wall, including that the doors and
Including the walls and the
okay.
openings.
So now we have to remove
Machinery.
that, the doors and window area. So what we have to do?
Oh,
Then we have to go and use that the backup tools. So you can see
okay.
that I have explained in the PPT, that is the what is the use of backup tools. Then you have to remove that the doors and
Remove
windows.
the area,
Then you
particular
have to
area.
use that the particular area. Then you have to use that the backup tools. So this is also in the rectangular format, right? So you have to use
Yes.
that the rectangular backup.
Okay.
First, I remove that the area this. So you can see that the area will be reduced from there. Yes or no? Right?
Okay.
And now you
Yes.
have to
Yeah.
reduce this area. Reduce. Sorry, this is the not exact reduce. Okay, so you have to go and click there, and then you have to go and click like this. Okay, now okay, clear? Yes or no?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
this is the exact area we have identified that, right? So that is the complete area we have to clear mentions. So now go to the takeoff tool, and then you have to click there and go to the properties, right? Okay, so what is the thickness of brick? That is the 0.23.
0.23.
Yes, right. And now we have to import in the cost data. That is the second quantity you want to calculate in the volume. Okay, right. The material cost for the brick. Suppose that we are using that the 320 rupees per volume. Okay, the brick cost, and the same labor cost we are using that the 50 rupees per volume. Okay, and after that you have to apply and then click OK. Then same you have to remove that the remarks, apply that the second quantity, then you can see that the volume will be calculated. Yes, right. Okay, now the material cost and the labor cost and the total cost we have to display, right. Now you have to same we have to use in the plaster, then you have to go in the plaster again, and again you have to use that the rectangular area takeoff, and then you have to again calculate that area. Okay, and after that you have to go in the backout tools and then remove there to there. Okay, I remove there to there, right.
Okay.
Okay, now
Okay.
what is the thickness of plaster we have to use? That is 120 mm.
Okay.
Okay, so thickness we use 120 mm to 150 mm, right. Yes or no, according to the volume
For
what we have.
plus. Yeah.
Okay, so you have to use that the thickness, that is the 0.12, that is the 120 mm, and after that you have to specify that the cost data, that is the second quantity, that is the volume of plasters. Okay, right.
Okay.
But when we are using that the volume according to the volume, then we have to use that the 12 mm plaster, right. So we specify that 0.012, right.
Hmm.
Then volume, and after that same for the material cost we are using that the 150 according to the volume, and same the 30 rupees according to the volume. Okay, and then apply and then okay, right. Yes or no? But in
Okay.
that case there is a problem. You can see that
Yes.
there is a problem. What is the problem you have to face? Can you explain that? Suppose that I have a,
So the total cost is only 59.
yes,
Somewhere wrong.
sorry, we have to change that the plaster thickness. We have calculated that the 12 mm, not 120 mm. According to the plaster, we are using that the according to IS 456, XOB 120 mm to 150 mm, right? So that's why we have to. But
Uh-huh.
when we are using in the formula, that is the plaster area with plaster, then we have to change that, right? You can see that, yes or no,
Yes.
right? Now, but there
Yeah.
is a problem. What is the problem we have to face? Suppose that we have a 10 number of items like this. Okay, then what we have to do? We have to
Uh-huh.
calculate that the 10 times the area of complete
Or
number.
individually you have to be individual. Yeah.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
hello.
ओके सर हाँ जी वही मतलब अगर 10 रहेगा तो हमें इंडिविजुअली सबके लिए एरिया वो
Yes,
करना पड़ेगा
just suppose that we have a suppose that we have to find that the cements and the brick masonry, that
हाँ
suppose that the number of items are more, then what we have, suppose for example we are taking that, suppose there is a 10 items, right. Then what we have to do, we have to calculate that the 10 times the area. Okay,
या
right. And after that what we have to do, we have to back use that the backout tools, that is the 10 times. Okay, for both one. So it takes that the more time. Okay, so it is the not a right way to identify that the area. Then what we have to do in that case, so I delete that the again the items. Okay, the both items I deleted. Okay, and now we use that the another method, that is the easiest method. Okay, so what is the easiest method? So first you have to make a list of item, right? What we have to do? First, we have to make the list of item, that is the brick. Suppose if you want to calculate that the brick in a count, okay, that is the number of bricks you have to identify. Then you can directly define that the type, that is the count, not define that the area. You have to think about that what we have to calculate from this object, okay, right? You are calculating that the number of bricks, then you can directly define that the type polygon. If you are calculating that the volume of this wall, then you can use that the brick masonry, okay, like this you can use that the brick masonry, okay, right? So you can define, but there is no need. I will show you another methods, okay. So I will define that we have to calculate that the volume. Suppose we have to calculate that the volume, so I define that the volume, right? So there is no LC, and after that we can calculate that the count, then you can calculate. Now the another one I will use that the plaster, okay? Then what we have to do, same we have to calculate that the volume of plasters, right? In that case, we also calculate that the volume of plasters of this wall. So we have defined that. So you have to you have to make that the number of list, and you have to arrange that the number of items. Okay. And after that, what we have to do, we have to only specify that the cost. Okay, because you have to finally the cost will be applied after that the calculating area. Yes or no? So in the starting of the when you are creating that the number of items and the number of list of the quantities, then you have to directly go in the right click and take a properties, okay, and directly you have to define that the cost data, right? You don't have to calculate that the second quantity, right? Okay, so you have to leave it that, and directly you have to specify that the brick cost will be 320 according to the volume, and the 50 rupees according to the volume. I will apply, and okay, so you can see that only I provide that the cost in the brick also, and in the plaster also same. In the plaster we also provide that the cost, that is the 150 according to the volume, and 30 according to the volume, right? Apply, and okay, you can see that again you can check your cost data will be filled or not, okay. So you can see that your cost will be defined, right? So like this, for the every number of quantity, every number of items, you have to only specify that a cost, right? And after that, what we have to do, this is a wall item. So again at the end, after that the completed that the number of items, your items will be finished, then you have to go and create that the one items, that is the wall, okay, right? And what we have to calculate, that is the area. So you have to define that the area, right? Okay. And after that, what we have to do, in that case you have to calculate only one time this area, right? You have to minimize that the number of calculations of the area, right? We have to calculate that the 10 times, 20 times, then 15 times. So we minimize this area, and only one time we calculate that the area for this wall, okay. So go to the rectangular area, check off, and first you have to calculate that the complete area, and after that you have to go in the backout tools, okay, and rectangular backout, and then you have to identify this one, okay, and identify this one. Okay, right? Clear? Yes. Now after that, what we have to do, then go to the wall, okay, right? Take a right click on this wall, and then go to the properties, okay. And after that you can see that there is a assemble property are available, okay. Now if you want to calculate that the volume, okay, then you have to, there is no need to calculate the volume, okay, because we are directly calculating that the assemble. So there is no use of general and the cost data at that time, right? You have to directly go in the assembly. It means that you have to assemble that the number of items you have prepared, right? Yes, you have to create that the brick, the plaster, the cement, the sand, like this. You have to create that the number of items. So then you have to go in the assembly and you have to assemble all these items. Then go to the click on the plus sign. You have to select both of this by the control and then import this one, right? So here is the quantity one. Then what we have to calculate? That is the volume. That is the meter cube. Yes or no? Right? So here we have to go in the options and specify that the formula. Then we have to calculate that the volume. Then you have to use that the formula. Write down that is the volume.
Yeah.
Okay, volume multiply by 1. Okay, we have to calculate that a single wall volume, right? Then after that click OK. Then your formula has been completed. Suppose if you want to calculate that the number of bricks. Okay, so in a single wall we are identify that approx 460 to 500 we are used that the number of bricks, right? Yes or no? According to 1 meter cube. So we have to
1 meter cube 500.
yes. So we have to specify that the quantity to in the another formula, that is the volume. Okay, multiply 500 or 460. You can specify. Okay, if you are using the range will be the 460 to 500. So if you are using the 500, then you can specify that volume into 500. Okay, so according to this one you can create the formula. And what we have to use, we are using that the count. Then you have to specify that the unit, that is the EA, that is the each amount, right? The number of bricks will be calculated. Now we have to calculate that the plasters. So what is we have to calculate? Volume of plasters. Then go here.
Master.
What is how can you calculate? That is the area into thickness. Yes or no? Okay.
Yeah.
We have to specify that the area multiply what is the thickness of plasters, that is the
12 mm, 150 mm.
okay, so 0 0.12, right? Okay, so after that you have to
Sir, but sir, I have one question. We use plaster on the both side of wall,
yes
na?
yes sorry, so we have to use that the
So
plaster on the both side. And if you are calculating that the first
yeah, so
quantity,
into
that
two
is the
also.
area, yes, so you have to multiply. If you are not calculating that the volume, then what we have to do in that case, you are calculating that the area. So on the both side you are using that the plaster, so area multiply by 2, right? Then you have to use, and we are using that a second quantity. Okay, that is the in the meter square. Okay, right? Okay, so and in that case we are specify that one more thing, we have specified
And
that
sir, what about the mortar between the bricks?
yes, mortar, that is the cement.
What about the
Your
mortar?
voice is
Yeah.
breaking.
हेलो
Yes.
सर, जो अपन सीमेंट ब्रिक्स के साथ जो मोटार लगाते हैं ना, सीमेंट
हाँ
जो
हाँ।
अपन ब्रिक्स को ज्वाइन करने के लिए लगते हैं, तो उस सीमेंट उस मोटार का कैलकुलेशन कैसे होगा?
क्या बोल रहे हो?
सर
Sir, for
जैसे
brick, he is asking about brick masonry, sir. Brick masonry in the sense we
we
will
use
paste inside cement plaster, cement with sand
yeah
plastering.
Yes, yes.
sir, we use mortar na to join the bricks.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
there is a 1 centimeter we use
Yes.
between the bricks to
Yes,
join the
then
so what
you can create that the number of items for the mortar also. Like same you can identify that the cement and sand, then you can same identify, like we have defined that the plaster in the number of items, then you have to same specify that the mortar in the number of items. Okay, and then you can calculate according to the thickness. Okay, right?
sir, but we have to minus na, we have to subtract the brick from the area. So
Yes,
how it
so
will,
in
मतलब
that
आप एक बार अपने फॉर्मूले से उसे, हाँ
yes, so सपोज दैट कि आप यहाँ से मतलब मोटार आप कैलकुलेट करना चाहते हो, यानी कि
हाँ
सीमेंट
जी, मतलब सर ब्रिक में, हाँ मतलब इस वॉल से हम प्लास्टर भी ले दोनों साइड का, है ना, जो ब्रिक आ रही है तो नंबर ऑफ ब्रिक्स भी आ जाएंगे, और जो ब्रिक्स के साथ मतलब जो मोटार आ रहा है बीच में, अगर वो भी कैलकुलेट करना है तो हमें टोटल एरिया में से
नहीं,
ब्रिक का जो
no,
एरिया आ रहा है वो माइनस करना पड़ेगा।
in that case you calculate that the directly the cement and sand, because if
ओके।
because if you have that the to estimate that the cost, then you can identify that how much material we have to bring. Okay,
ओके।
not you have to bring that the mortar, right? You have to calculate that the bricks, how much bricks we have to put in that wall, what are the number of bags we have to use in that walls, okay, the number of cement
हाँ
and
हाँ हाँ,
what is the volume of sand. So in that case we have to not
या
calculate with the mortar. If you are calculating,
ओके
this is not the right way to calculate that the cost
ओके
estimate. It takes the time.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
in that
ओके
case you
ओके ओके
calculate that the cement and sand. Okay, because the
ओके
mortar will be formed by the cement and sand. Simple. Yes or no?
या
So
या
if you are calculating that how much we have to bring that the material, then your cost will be determined, right? Yes or no?
ओके ओके
Okay. So in that case, we are calculating
सर
here.
एक उसका भी एग्जांपल मतलब दे देना, बिकॉज मतलब जैसे अगर किसी मतलब पर्टिकुलर हमें सिर्फ सीमेंट और सैंड का ही निकालना है तो
हाँ,
प्लास्टर भी उसी पे ही हो जाएगा अपना, सीमेंट और सैंड सही,
हाँ बिल्कुल उस
है
पे
ना।
मैं अभी जैसे
हाँ,
अभी मैं
उस पे सिर्फ
वी
तीन
आर
चीज निकलेगी मतलब ब्रिक। हाँ हाँ
नेक्स्ट जो अपन एग्जांपल लेंगे ना, जो एक वॉल का, तो उसमें in that case we
हाँ,
identify that the cement, sand and brick only. Okay,
आई एम ब्रिक
right?
ओनली, या ओके ओके, या
In that case we
या
are
थैंक यू सो मच।
okay, so you can just go through
या
that, and if there is a
या
end of session, then you can write the questions. Okay, so after that the ending of class,
ओके
we take that the one class, that is the doubt session. So if any doubts
ओके
are available, then you can ask. Okay, now
ओके
we are changing that. Here we have to only calculate that the area of plasters. Okay, right? Now we can go in the properties and we can justify that the thickness. What is the thickness? That is 0.23,
पॉइंट ट्वेंटी,
Point two
because
three.
we calculate
या
directly the volume. Okay, then go to the
ओके
assemble. Then you have to assemble all this. Okay, select. So we calculate that the first quantity, that is the volume. So we have
वॉल्यूम इनटू
multiply
वन।
volume into 1. Okay, right? Now you can calculate that the area. Okay, so on the area, the plaster on the both sides of wall, then you have to use area into 2, right? And after that click OK. Now
तो
if you want to suppose that if any person asks that eh, with volume we can identify that the number of bricks, so you can see that here the second quantity are available for you. Okay, so you can
नंबर ऑफ
calculate.
बुक्स।
Yes, so for the volume, multiply 460 or 500 you can use, and then you can identify that with volume you can also calculate that the number of bricks, and after that you have to apply and then
वॉल्यूम
click
इनटू
OK.
460।
Now you open this one, then you can see that the brick, the quantity 1 has been
each।
calculated. Okay, the second quantity, that is the number of bricks, each amount has been calculated. Okay, the material cost we have applied, so all the cost data we have to apply, that is available for us. Okay, right, you can see that. Yes, but you can see that the
Okay,
quantity
so
second and all this data will
sir,
be,
2913 is the number of the,
yes, means that you have to use, that is 2913 bricks. Point 9, it means that
okay, okay,
2914 bricks you have to use for this wall. Okay,
14 bits.
yes,
Okay, sir.
you can see that one more thing, that
Yeah.
is we have specified that in a cost, that is the according to the volume I have identified. Yes, so you can see that the all quantity and the things are will be zero, so we have to some modifications. You can go to there and in the properties, okay, and cost data, and you have to identify specify that the cost, that is the 150 according to the area, and because this is the removed from there, so you can see that. Okay, so understood how we have to create all this. So if there is a drawings like this, and you have to identify that the some items from the object, then you have to do first what we have to do. First, we have to make that the number of items, right? First step, what we have to do? First, you have to make that the number of items, and you have to define that the type, and after that, for the every items, you have to put that the cost, right? For the every items, what we have to do? Put that the cost, and then we can at the end we create that the one wall, that is the number of items we have to create by the wall, and then we can calculate that the one times the area, and then we have to use that the one time backout tools, and after that we have to assemble all this by using that the formula. Okay, right? So you can go through that. So tomorrow we will cover that the
Yeah.
another topic. Okay, right? So any doubt in this? Yes or no? Any doubts? Hello? If any doubt, yes or no?
No.
Okay, then you can go to the practice. Okay. Yes, tell me.
सर आप उसके बताने वाले थे मोटार अलग से सैंड एंड उसका मतलब
नहीं
सैंड सॉइल का
हाँ, तो वो आपको नेक्स्ट क्लास में नेक्स्ट टॉपिक के साथ ही कवर कर दूंगा. ओके.
अच्छा चलो ठीक
Another
ओके
model, just say for example, we are using that the another model, and then we can use on this. Okay.
ओके ओके सही है
Thank you.
थैंक यू सो मच